board.
All right, turning your mic on, sound check. Go ahead. Talk a little bit.
Yes, hello, hello. Yes,
Hello,
live it.
hello.
You're good. Stand by, 30 seconds.
You gotta sit closer.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome back to the Live It Show with Tanya, and Robert. Just joking. Anyways, we're so excited to have in studio, in the Focus TV studios in Hollywood, David Semeny. He's a friend of mine and Robert's. He's worked with a ton of celebrities. His career has been so fruitful and incredible. We want to share with you how and why, David, how you got there and what it's like to live your it.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the Live It with Robert and Tanya.
Whatever. All right, so he's
excited
known
to be
Robert
here.
longer. I'll give you that.
I like that.
I love
Good
what
job,
you do
baby.
because it's funny, there's a recurring theme here of find your purpose, find your passion. And that's like my motto. Find your purpose, find your passion.
You do say that a lot.
Yes,
too.
you do.
I love that, and I love what you're doing. So I'm a big fan already, even though I'm on only show number 2. I'm a huge fan of show number 1. Okay, and I already got a contact high from watching the first episode.
Nice.
So,
You did.
yeah. So,
Nice.
can the cannabis man? Yeah. That
Yes.
Calvin Fry.
Yes, that
Calvin
was a great
Fry,
show.
the cannabis guy.
Yeah. So
Very
you know,
educational, wasn't it?
it was extremely. Yeah, I was excited, and it's good to know that I'm not going to hell for CBD oil.
That is a good
Well,
thing.
No, you're good, but but yeah. So David could talk about so many things. But I know you work with Lady Gaga. I know you work with Lauryn Hill. You know, so before we get to like the nuts and bolts of the second part of your it, take us back to like that experience. What was that like?
So my first it was music and music business. I just wanted to work for musicians, but I was in a band and I got a record deal with a guy that produced Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album, a guy named Richard Dashit, signed my band, we toured the country, even opened for Metallica, believe it or not.
Nice.
All right.
Now, what were you? Did you play the guitar, the bass,
I yelled.
piano?
I yelled. I don't know if I call that a skill.
You just screamed.
Yeah, I had long hair. It was in braids. I looked like Bo Derek.
Also, you were the hype guy.
Yes.
I want pictures of
Yes.
that.
Nice. You were the Flavor Flav.
I was the flavor. I didn't have the clock, though, okay? I had a steel drum instead. But,
Nice.
and so when my band didn't make it, all right, we sold 7,000 records, so it went lead, you know, which nowadays that would have been a huge accomplishment in today's climate, but it didn't quite make it. So when I didn't make it as a musician, I just found out that, hey, you know what? I need to go out there and work for musicians. So I just started sneaking backstage like my life depended on it. And they got so sick of me
I love that you did that.
they basically said, look, just go away and come back in a couple weeks and we'll give you some work. So that led to a career
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes.
Wow.
Yeah, my first job was with John Tesh, piano player.
Oh.
And a
Poor
lot of
John
people don't
Tesh.
know that. He wrote the NBA theme, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if
Wow.
you can do it, you know.
No, I can't do it, but
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
know he's making a lot of money.
That's only 4 bars, so that's
every
good.
day.
Living his it.
No, he is really living his it.
Yeah, and so I just kind of worked my way up through the music business through my passion and just really my work ethic and all the themes that you talk about here. And ended up working for some incredible people, Lauryn Hill, Lady Gaga, lots of rock bands. I did Ozfest, I did a band called Lifehouse, and it just was an incredible career. Right up until that point of having children, which we all know about. Changes
Yes,
your
we
it
do.
a lot.
But was that something that you knew did you know that you wanted to get into the music business, or did you just sort of, as doors opened, you walked through and then one day you're like, you know what, I'm really loving what I'm doing right now?
I wanted to be in the music business so bad that my first job at Pier 1 Imports, as I was mopping the floor, I was daydreaming about working at concerts. And we had an earthquake in '94 in Northridge, and I was the guy that had to clean up all that glass stuff at Pier 1 Imports. And I realized,
Wow.
you know what, this is not where I need to be. And so I had my mom drop me off at concerts before I could drive so I could sneak backstage.
So you would sneak backstage. How
Oh, yeah.
would you get back there?
Oh, I would
It's
do
impossible
anything
now.
and everything. Actually, Ice-T at the first Lollapalooza, he came out to sign some autographs, and I used Ice-T as a distraction. So thank you, Ice, if you're watching, for helping me get backstage at my first
Nice.
concert. I met James Addiction and all these acts, 9 Inch Nails, and I got to actually meet them and network. And from there, I learned the power of networking. You know, getting out there and asking people, who do you know that I should know? And it just led from there. I mean, I believe that people can be successful no matter what it is they're doing if they have the passion.
Now, did you have a passion for music, like as a little kid?
I did growing up. I learned how to play drums. I can still read drum music, you know, but you know, can't really keep a beat. Nice. So I didn't make it as a drummer.
Okay, so now fast forward to where we are with kids. So you said the kids are coming into the picture. Obviously, you're married. You are with the love of your life.
And you're traveling at this point. So you're on the road.
Yeah, you can't be traveling that much if you're going to be having kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'll tell you what, all the way up until kids, and those of you that have had kids, I'll tell you what, you will only understand this until you have kids. Because if you haven't had kids, it's one thing to love your parents, right? It's one thing to love your spouse. But the love that we have for our children, it's like I will take a bullet in a second. My life switches. Your life switches.
Yeah, it really does.
To become about them. It really isn't about you anymore. And that was a big epiphany that I had. We're on the road with Lady Gaga, and my wife's her personal assistant, and we get on the border of Canada and Mexico, and or Canada and the U.S., and we had the announcement that she was pregnant. They had the pregnancy test in the tour bus, and Gaga called me in, and I was trying to get us across the border, and my wife and Gaga were in the back lounge of the bus crying. I said, what's going on? Like, we're going to get to the show, I promise. We had a bus driver that had a DUI, and they won't let you into your wonderful home country with any kind of DUI. And
well, it took me 20 years to get my green card. So
that's
so touche.
All you had to do was sneak across the border. That's what everybody else does. Right. So what we did was we just basically found out that we were pregnant, and from that moment on, my life just shifted, and I realized it's all about this little beautiful human. And everything I was going to do in my life, no matter how great my career was, no matter how much money I was making, my number one priority was going to be my family.
And then you went corporate, so you would have, like, I guess the security, something steady.
Yep, I got into the corporate world, and that was a 7-year, I want to call it a grind, but it was a passion. You know, it was a passion.
And that's when I met this man.
Around that time.
Yeah.
When he was transitioning from the music world to the corporate world.
You know, Robert was on Good Morning America, and that's really where I first met him. I mean, he walks into the office. Next thing I see him doing shots of collagen on Good Morning America. And I'm
that is true. Like, that is true.
And here we are, right, 8 years later, still doing collagen shots. Yep. And we look the same age, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Actually, we look younger.
You do look younger.
Yep, collagen back in the day.
Yeah.
Times Square.
Absolutely. You guys have a dewiness on your face now.
Yeah,
I'm 87, so people look.
I'm 93. 93. And things are going well.
So what I want to ask you, though, is, like, you mentioned a lot about your passion. Do you think that that's sort of the difference between your passion and your purpose is your passion is something, I mean, if you have a job that incorporates something that you're passionate about, what a blessing. But your purpose in life, no matter if you're on the road with music or you're in the corporate world, what do you think that your purpose is that sort of you feel and you know do the same, it feels the same no matter what you're doing? Like, ultimately, what is it that you think your purpose is?
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because one of the things I just talked about, I have some mentoring clients, and we were talking about what's the purpose of life. Have you ever thought of that?
Yes.
Yeah. But I still haven't figured it out.
I mean, for me, the purpose of life is to serve others. That's what I believe that all of this is about.
And, you know, for me, the answer was to learn to live happily. And I feel like when we serve others, we can live happily. And when we serve our family and our children and our friends, we can also be happy. But that's a lot of, like, you know, magnanimous talk. But in reality, what it comes down to is we've still got to make a living. And that's, I think, the struggle for a lot of people. You still got to pay the bills. And so this is what continues to get people, as you mentioned in your intro, trading time for money, just going out there and doing what maybe doesn't make them excited or maybe they're not passionate about it, but their purpose in supporting their family drives them to do that job that maybe they don't want to do. So like I said, being passionate about stuff, I'm passionate about music, but when I flipped into the corporate world, that didn't mean I wasn't passionate about music. In fact, if anything, it made me more passionate about music because I would want to get home and get in the studio and make music or listen to music. And I can still do that, but in the corporate world, pursuing a dream where in Liquid Collagen 7-8 years ago was totally untapped. And to see where we're going now, $8 billion market, that was like being in Bill Gates' dorm room. You know what I mean? Like Zuckerberg and I were hanging out, you know, at Harvard kind of thing.
You're right.
And so we're excited with where it's going, but I saw that vision, so my purpose became get really good, be world class in the industry that I chose, and help as many people as you can be successful, and that's what's kind of parlayed into where I'm at now.
Right. Which he did that from the corporate space, and now he's in the independent space, helping other people independently create home businesses. Would that be accurate?
Yep, residual income through home-based business right on your cell phone.
And we're all doing it. Like, we all are like believers in this collagen. I was back then. I saw it all happening. You got introduced to it. You love it.
I did about 7 months ago. Yeah, you introduced it to me, and I love it too.
And we
well,
shared
you're glowing.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Thank you, David.
Well, they say there's 2 reasons why a woman is glowing.
Well, one is because she's pregnant. I'm old. But you'll never know it because
and the other reason would be the collagen. I totally get it. So David helped these people from the corporate standpoint do very well in home business building. And then you decided to actually do what you had helped other people do, which is amazing because you saw it work. You helped people make it work. And I think you said once when you saw people starting to make more money than you were making, you're like, I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to keep helping people, but yet I'm going to leverage my time in a way where I can grow an empire for myself.
Absolutely. As our collagen company grew and the numbers grew, the sales grew, the team grew, as my office got bigger, my free time shrunk. I spent more time away from my family, more time on the road, more time not doing the things that I love to do that I feel like I was put here to do. At the same time, I felt that there's this concept that everybody out there does, and it's trading time for money. When you trade time for money, you're basically saying, my time is worth X. Whatever that X is, however much that X is, whether you're minimum wage or whether you're the CEO, you're still trading time for money. Well, what's our most valuable commodity?
Time.
Time. It's priceless.
Yeah.
So, and people talk about time management. You can't manage time. Time manages you. It's like, stop it, time. Don't do that. Nice try. And so when we trade, and then our most valuable business asset are our relationships. So what a perfect marriage when you can have a business that leverages time and relationships, and you do it from your phone.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do it from anywhere.
I had a huge breakthrough, you guys, and it has been the biggest, most important in my life.
I love this. So what I want to know, talking about that too, is when do you know to keep going? Because I know that sometimes when you are pursuing your passion or your purpose, it's not always easy. There's obstacles along the way. When do you know to keep going? When you feel like you need, or you need to sort of turn away?
When your credit cards are maxed out.
Okay.
That's a short answer.
Then turn away. But I know that you've had some obstacles along the way too. I know about a year ago you were saying that you almost, like how did you get through that? This is for the people that know that they're pursuing their passion, their purpose, but yet it's not always a perfect, flower-colored road. It's
15 years in the music business, I would say I was world-class at managing tours of major international stars.
Right.
7, 8 years in corporate, 10 years actually in corporate with another direct sales company. I felt like I was world-class in that sales role. Getting into the field, as we say, as a marketer, independent business owner where, nobody's telling you where to be, what to do, or anything, a self-starter.
Big transition.
It was a big transition, and a lot of the people that have been doing it for 10 years, and Robert and I, you've had this conversation, about those people who, maybe they change companies, and instantly they're at the top of the plan,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, well, how'd you do that? And it's like, well, yeah, they've been doing it for 10, 15 years, they've got people and relationships. So for me, I kind of just went out there blind and started doing it. But you're right, I got to a place after about 4 or 5 months where I was ready to throw in the towel. I'm thinking at the money that I was making on the commissions, it wasn't enough to support my family, and I was ready to give up. I called the president of the company, and I don't know that I expected her to say anything different than she did, but she just said, just keep going. And it's one thing to take words like that when people give you that kind of advice, but it's another thing to actually do it and put your heart and soul into it. So I just continued, and man, the second month we learned our new system on our cell phones with the groups and the way that we build a business. We call it ATM, and man, the business just took off. If you looked on an X and Y axis, double-digit growth every single month. I think we've averaged 22% growth month over month, and there's no signs of stopping. So it has been magical, and now I get to work with people like you that just literally live their purpose all day long. And when you get all of these great people together in a room like we do once a week, you have a fantastic circle of people that all are the best at what they do.
Yes.
Like, you're the best at what you do.
Thank you.
I mean, when I
Thank
see
you.
those
Thank
shows, and my wife is a huge fan, she's an interior designer.
Aw.
When I see those shows, and when I see what you do on stage, I just saw you on stage the other day for, I don't know what, it was ultimately about at least 500 or 600 people, easy. And I see you do what you do. It's very clear that A, you're passionate, and B, you know your purpose. You got it figured out, why you were on this planet to help other people. So I think I'm comfortably now at 42 or 82. I'm comfortable in my skin at Zig Ziglar's motto. You can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough other people get what they want.
I love it.
I love that.
And so for people who want to connect with us, they're invited. We have a website that people can learn more about, what we do and how they could be on this show and how they could potentially meet you. Because we are going to take all this on the road.
Going on the road, baby.
And as we take it on the road, we want you to be one of our keynote speakers.
I would love that.
Because you're living your it, and that's what this is all about. It's about helping people discover it,
Own it,
and
make money doing what you love.
Live it.
That's right, live it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am so honored to be on your show, and congratulations on all your success. So happy to work with you.
Thank you. Well, we're just glad to have you here to share your story with us.
And we will keep you around, but we have a special guest coming in. That's actually it's a surprise guest.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you
who
saw him
that-
in the
who
back.
that is.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. This person walked in, and I don't blame you. Okay, I'm out of here.
So there you go. So thank you, David, for being here. We're going to take a little bit of break, and then when we come back, you will get to see who this special guest is. I know who it is. He's met her, but she hasn't. So you want to see the surprise that is going to take place with Miss Tanya Memme when we come back.
Wow.
All right, here we go.
Hey Robert, now they have the bring a friend on the live video. Now they have it.
All right, come on
It's
out.
back on.
That's
You guys
terrible.
can get on in
So we'll
there.
do that
How do
next
we?
week.
No, but that's for your personal page, not for your business page. That
I
was,
have
She's on a business page.
okay.
So go ahead and take yours down.
So don't.